All right. Hello and welcome. This is Doyle Buehler, the author of the book, The Digital Delusion, and I help enterprise and entrepreneurs scale, disrupt, and grow their business and sales through digital leadership. And today on this live session, I have Jade Alberts, who's actually one of my hometown heroes. He's living in the town that I grew up in Western Canada, Calgary. And we actually met last year at a conference in Calgary, a marketing conference that I was speaking at. So thanks, Jade, for coming up and talking, and just seeing how that's kind of evolved from since then. So short little discussion. I really wanted just to kind of talk to you about business development and some selling and social selling and kind of your experience in that as well. So welcome, Jade, and maybe just, quickly give a quick introduction of yourself and your business.
Thanks, Doyle. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me on today. My name is Jade Alberts. I have my own consulting company out of Calgary here. If you ever want to come here, stop in, say hello, head out to the Rocky Mountains. But I have a lot of business development background. We owned the rights to Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs in Canada. We grew that. We ended up selling it. And now I help a lot of businesses with their brand and business development, kind of workplace strategy, business plans, through social engagement. So lots of different hats, but a lot of small businesses that I deal with, or family businesses, need a little outside help and a little advice once in a while.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I wanted to talk specifically about sales, because that's such a huge part of businesses today, and whether it leads into the digital space is fine. I don't really care, but I just kind of want to get your impression of, what are businesses today doing with sales and for lack of a better term, business development as well. Like, what's sort of been your experience of the Calgary market, and what are businesses doing, and that sort of thing?
The Calgary market obviously is tied to oil and gas a lot, and that's been taking a beating the last 2 or 3 years. But, in the end, a lot of businesses are really, still doing things the same old way, hiring a rep, banging on doors, trying to cold call, hoping that it turns into leads, not worrying about, employee satisfaction and employee turnover. There's just another person that they could hire, and in my mind, that's just the wrong way to go about it. The conference we were at, and even a few other ones I have attended, talk about the future of work and how it is to make the most important person isn't the customer, it's actually the employee. Once the employee's happy, the employee is ready to go, they will look after your clients, and the relationship building is the way to build strong, lengthy relationships.
So with that in mind, then, in terms of building that relationship, you kind of talked about cold calling and that sort of thing, and how does a business currently get a lot of sales? Do they need to do that still, or should they be thinking of doing that, or what do you think?
I think cold calling is always going to be necessary. I always say it should be built into a warm calling, using as an old term, but communication is a key. It's always going to be a cold call, but if you stay in contact with that person, give them updates about your industry, updates about your business, whatever way they want to communicate with you, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, email, text, whatever's easiest for them, it turns that cold call into a warm call, and you start to build a relationship. So the communication, especially with the clients that you don't have, is a key to building that relationship.
But how do you start that process? So, turn the clock back a little bit. Yeah, you want a relationship, and yes, you want to sort of continue to help them and nurture them and kind of point them in the right direction, regardless of whether they're a client or not. But how do you start that conversation? How do you do it? What steps do you take to kind of say, hey, whether it's a cold call, I just kind of want to get your impression on, does cold calling still work? Has everybody gone digital, or is that sort of just a misconception?
No, a lot of the way the way I roll on that is I try and reach out to the person. I do a lot of background work, whether it's on the individual and the company, so I'm very knowledgeable. I'm just not going to look like some dude knocking on the door, not knowing anything. But once you kind of introduce yourself, you hopefully get a response. Again, email is an easy way to do that. Every now and then I will actually go to, or used to go to, their office, knock on the door, leave a card, talk to the receptionist, start to build a relationship with her. You got to get through the gatekeeper. But again, I try and also go to different events that I know they may be at as well. So once you get that personal touch with them, you can start building it that way.
And how do you get past the gatekeeper then?
Oh, I guess people always say they have the secret, secret.
You have the secret recipe, the formula.
Yeah, there is no secret recipe.
I'm going to type it in now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like this.
Yeah, with my knuckles sometimes.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to getting past the gatekeeper, whoever, even if it's just the secretary who's just as important as anybody else, you have to be yourself and be unique. Make sure that you're sincere, you're listening to them. If they tell you to shoo, don't just sit there, say, okay, you know what, I'll be back again another day if you don't mind. I mean, you just have to be yourself, be unique, be genuine, and, do whatever you can to, make her feel, make him feel important as well.
And on that note, what's your worst sales experience?
I've been lucky not to have too many of them, but
okay.
my worst one was probably about 15, 20 years ago down in Lethbridge. I had a client. Basically, I walked in the door, just handed my business card to him. He called me a lying sack of, I won't use the word. He said to get out of the store. I don't need anything. I don't want anything from you, and I'll never believe anything that you tell me.
Okay.
So that was, and I've never met the gentleman before, so it was one of those.
Okay.
All right, I'll just leave this one for another day.
What, you didn't push through?
No. Sometimes you just got to listen. It's an important part of communicating, and I did come back, about 3 or 4 months later, and I ended up, 8, 9 months after that, I ended up selling them something. So I just caught them on a bad day. So just listen. They say, get the heck out and try again another day.
Well, maybe bring a Snickers bar next time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so on the other side of the equation, what's been your best sales moment where you've kind of just gone, yeah, this is cool. I really love this.
I would have to say it would probably be dealing with MLSE here up in Canada, which is Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment. They're the Leaf, Toronto Maple Leafs, the Raptors. Okay. We were going in there to pitch our product, our Nathan's hot dogs, and we figured, wow, here's the biggest sporting franchise in Canada. They're the Mecca. Toronto's the center of the universe. We figured, oh boy, here we go, right? But
according to Torontonians.
Exactly. Once we sat down there, they were so easy to deal with. They wanted our product. They said, here's kind of the sponsorship we want to do. Here's the volume that you're going to do. We want to expand into this. And within an hour, we struck a deal. And I just, to this day, I'm still, baffled how easy that was and how great of a company they were to deal with. And we dealt with them for all 8 years till we sold the company. They were fantastic.
Okay, cool. And so how did sales evolve during those 8 years then with that company?
Well, we bought a truckload of hot dogs up, and we said, let's make a company of this. So we did a lot of strategic partnering throughout Canada. Obviously, it's very hard just to hire a sales force. So we looked at brokers, interviewed brokers, and really, really focused on the good ones that we thought were the good ones, which ended up being great partners. And when you have them, they have a sales force, they have the connections, they brought in a lot of the leads. We kind of just managed them and made sure that any of the big ones that involved sponsorship dollars or investment that we were on top of. And then we also went after key accounts like MLSE, like the Vancouver Canucks, like the Winnipeg Jets, Manitoba Moose at that time. The Kegs, the Boston Pizzas, so we can get a really good brand awareness. And And when we started opening up our restaurants and getting into the Safeways and Sobeys and Loblaws, they allowed us to do some cross-promoting and get into different, in front of different people. So that really helped our brand grow in Canada.
Okay, cool. No, it sounds like quite the adventure. And were there any sort of pitfalls along the way where talking sales type things where the deal went sour or something happened that wasn't beneficial to the overall sales?
Oh, yeah, and not including the ones that we lost. That comes with sales and doing business.
Yeah.
We had a couple, I guess we'll call them shysters that would, because we were small and we would really, when somebody wanted to do a brand with us, we would kind of custom make whatever they would want. And we ended up finding out they just ended up going to a different product using our branding and didn't want to pay the premium. So, you're always going to have people like that. We shut them down pretty quickly, but it's sad when you're working pretty hard and then someone just, for an extra, 50 cents or whatever it is, really starts to do damage to your brand.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because my thing is digital, are you sort of seeing a trend for traditional businesses more into the social selling side of things? Like what are you seeing with clients and prospects and that sort of thing? Are they using digital? Should they be using it more?
Oh, absolutely. Even with Nathan's, we did a lot of digital, a lot of branding, a lot of selling, a lot of different campaigns and contests that really, again, grew our brand, grew our following. We were almost like a little cult following in Canada, which was great. But a lot of the clients that I deal with right now were really, again, with the small family type, they have 1 to 3, 5, 6, 10 employees maybe. They don't have time to focus on digital. So that's where, hiring somebody for, it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but and getting them out there, helping them with their brand, helping them with their selling. And a few of them, we're moving on to, online e-commerce now, which is, really going to benefit them as well. So a lot of my smaller clients that I like dealing with, they are slowly, once they realize that they need it and they're willing to invest a little bit into it because they don't have the time, they're seeing a really strong benefit.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, it's been a fantastic discussion, Jay. Just on closing, what sort of, 3 tips would you, or even one for that matter, that you would recommend to growing sales for a business? One thing I've always prided myself on, and when I've ever hired somebody or I tell my clients is be honest and be yourself. I mean, if you're trying to tell somebody that, sell them something and trying to spin it to make it in your sale and it may not benefit them, you might get the sale, but it's going to be a one-time sale. If you want to be a successful businessman, salesperson, it's all about relationships. So be yourself, be honest. Even if you have to send that sale somewhere else, that client will respect you a heck of a lot more and will be the first call, and you will be the first call when they need something. Yeah, cool. So yeah, build a longer term relationship and more than just sort of a single transaction, if that's the case as well. So, and I think a lot of businesses kind of fall short because they're looking at, well, I just got to sell one thing kind of thing. But it's like, well, what's the ultimate customer value to you over time? And sort of how that figure can change and how it can actually affect your business as well. Excellent. So how can we find you, Jade? And if you wouldn't mind, maybe sending me the links and I'll post it in the Facebook notes and the LinkedIn blog as well. But just quickly, how can we find you? My website is jadealbertsconsulting.com. My Twitter handle is jade_a_consult. Again, my LinkedIn is Jade Alberts, and pretty much anything that is involved with my name. I am my brands and I am my business, so it's kind of easy. Fantastic, easy to remember. And how many of there are you on Google? Is it more than one Jade Alberts on Google? I get a lot. I did a lot of with Nathan's. I was all over. We did Canadian Championship hot dog eating contest, so I was on
and a TSN, so there's a lot of that. There is a
Can
Jade
you invite
Albert.
me to the next one?
What's that?
Can you invite me to the next hot dog eating competition?
Oh, they stopped doing them, which is sad. Going to New York and being on ESPN was pretty fun. I wasn't eating, even though I wouldn't come close to Joey and his 72 hot dogs. But it's it's something else.
No, awesome. Cool. Well, send me those links, Jade. And then for all the watchers, I'll be posting this on Facebook Notes, on LinkedIn, as well as on Medium with the video and some of the links to get in touch with Jade. So cool. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And thanks everybody as well for watching. And if you have any feedback or comments, please leave them in the comments. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.
Thanks, Doyle. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Jade.
Bye-bye.